I watched something that reminded me of something that made me laugh. Stress less? Scroll through photos of baby animals for an instant calm. I completely agree with that. I cannot say that I have ever had any kind of negative feeling toward the image of a baby animal. If anything, it really warms me up because you see their deformed looking faces, just subdeveloped, and you're thinking about how they're going to look in the future, like baby Dusty. To me, he looked like he had this little alien face going on. I was already imagining in advance what he would look like into adulthood. And of course, he ended up looking much better than I anticipated. But he's definitely been the one cat whose growth and development I've been able to perceive almost from start to finish. I got him when he was maybe like 2-3 months old. So he was still pretty tiny. But then I knew exactly by what time he was gonna reach a certain size. I remember I kept saying, "Come on, December." And he had been born in mid-March of 2018. I wish I would have met him as a newborn, but we didn't have access to him at the time. Now, when it comes to wild animals, those ones I want to say impress me the most, especially cubs, because you look at them and they look so harmless and innocent, but somehow that little puppy-sized being is gonna turn into something so massive, weighing hundreds of pounds. And it's just an interesting perspective of how not everything is what it looks. Just like humans, you have an infant and you know that this being is going to grow into adulthood, and after a certain age they're going to experience some kind of a decline as well. If you ask me, observing the decline in animals physically due to aging is a little bit harder. I don't know if it's because I haven't had the luxury of having a pet reach senior age in my presence. Dusty is probably going to be the first candidate for that cycle. I want to say he's like a year away from officially entering senior age, which is crazy to me. But I only notice it if certain traits come out and I fixate on it. Like Dusty, I feel like around his eyes, there seems to be like a thicker dark line, and his whiskers have been changing color. And I also find that the texture of his coat has evolved over the years, and it also reminds me of me with my own hair. I'm like, the texture of my hair has certainly evolved. I remember what it looked like and felt like when I was a teen, and how while I was a teen I was aware that that was probably the best my hair was ever going to look. And now I'm telling myself that I can observe the loss of some things. Now, I always think about how when you're a kid yourself, you have trouble appreciating those times. And when I see pictures of baby animals, for instance, sometimes I wonder if they are aware of their own youth, or when their youth is over, because now they have their own cubs and stuff. And sometimes I wonder if animals sometimes wish that they had younger years. I'm not sure if they are aware that with the passage of time as we understand time to be, they are going to experience mortality and aging, its consequences. I just can't help but wonder, do they ever see like an energetic younger member of their species and go like, that used to be me, or I wonder why I can't do that, or have I ever been like that? I can't remember a time in which that was my norm. Something like that. Those are the kinds of questions I think I would ask an animal if I could. I like to fixate on baby animals because, at least in the wild, it is very rare that you just casually run into them and you're able to really examine them that well, because usually their parents are gonna keep them hidden, protected and stuff. But yeah, I think this is a really nice piece of advice. From time to time, I will catch myself scrolling through animal photos, especially baby photos, because we all collectively agree that they're cute and the algorithm loves to feed that to us because they keep us pretty engaged. So I can say that's something that I do maybe once a week, but I cannot say I go more than a week without running into baby animal photos. And now I've been trying to go out of my way to look for videos, especially of folks who work taking care of animals like that. And I've been learning a lot. Some things that I never considered about how animals may go about doing things. And I think that the bear, for instance, is the one animal that I just inherently thought is just this mindless beast. And I find that you can survive an encounter with them if you know how to react to them, how to behave around them, and what not to do, and what to consider, especially with the females who may have cubs around. And it's just one of those things that it should be kind of obvious and kind of common sense, but you're really not thinking about that. It's not something you see day to day. But I'm glad that we have content like that out there so that you keep that fresh in your mind. I used to think that bears were cute, but they're monsters, and period. Especially wild, you have no hope of making it alive with them, but you just gotta know what you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. What would you say is the cutest baby animal? I think, to me, the cutest baby animals tend to be the ones that are most savage, the most wild, threatening ones. Even certain baby snakes to me can look kind of cute. Bears, tigers, leopards, foxes, things like that tend to be cute. There are certain fish that I want to say could look kind of cute too when they're tiny, but I really don't spend too much time looking at fish. Avians, I think they can be the ugliest because they haven't grown their feathers out, and when they're born, to me they just look like raw, ready to put in a skillet chicken. So I feel kind of bad, but it is what it is. I mean, you're born bold, featherless, can't appreciate what you have to offer aesthetically until you mature.